Hello everyone, this is Pedro Lopez doing another master study today. So I'll be presenting the artist called Jean-Leon Gerome, and his artwork is called Solomon's Wall, Jerusalem, also known as the Wailing Wall. Now, before we start, I gotta say I did a little mistake recognizing this painting because the painting I got from a Tumblr post was cut off to be made in wide angle. So I ended up doing that instead of doing the whole painting, which was supposed to be vertically bigger, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. And also, this artist is really, really good. It's one of my favorites. His composition in Color Girl, it's like mind blowing how it does like so much detail with his colors and brings so much life into a painting. It's like I don't know. The only word I can think of right now is mind blowing. But yeah, I'll be trying to duplicate his work right now, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And let's get started then. As you guys can see, I started with already a pre-prepared file with some color schemes already done on sides, so I don't pick colors from the original image. This is so that I can train my eyes towards color composition and values instead of just picking colors straight from the actual image. I mean, if you're gonna study something, you might as well do it right and just not copying all of it. So this way you can actually train more your skills towards a greater end. So here you can see already I'm trying to pick up the colors that go towards light and shadow. So lights and darks actually. This way you can dictate already like composition and shapes right from the go. As you can see here, I got already the wall coming into shape on the right side, and now I'll be detailing and putting color to distinguish shapes. So one thing I gotta say is that normally I don't usually use perspective grids, and the reason because is that I want to be observing the most, just like really pushing the skills observing my surroundings and scenarios. And most of the times, like I could do the perspective grid, but I choose not to because I feel just like too lazy, perhaps. But I just don't feel the need to. I mean, I for more harder pieces, probably I would use harder perspective grid. Yes, but for this one and most of the images I do when I'm like copying from real life or stuff like that, I don't usually use it. I only use perspective grids mostly when I'm doing buildings or cities or really complicated composition. Otherwise, I just use my what did you say? My vision to just get around things, and that mostly works for simple compositional images. Like this one here, Jean did a wall, like a few walls actually, but it's three in the image, I think. Yes, three or four. Yes, there's a little one right off the top right corner, so that counts as the fourth one. But since it's a really simple one, I didn't even waste time on doing like a grid. So I just jumped right in, and as you can see, I got already pretty much everything in place. So, something I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that is when you're doing the study or you just trying to copy something else from a photograph or image or painting, whatever it may be. Normally, I see from other videos or other people doing like studies on the internet is that they put both layers of the image, like the image you're copying from and the one you're doing, in the same size. Now, as you can see here, I didn't do that, and the reason why I have a bigger, I'm working on a bigger scale image on my study, is because I don't want to be just looking at the image above and just copying it and make the same thing by just drawing lines above it or just doing grids. I want to be studying and observing and actually figure out the scales of things for myself and not just trying to do a copy of the original artwork. Because what I'm doing here is to try and learn and to try and push my visual skills to a higher level. As an artist, I feel that's really important to do because observing things is going to be your most valuable asset as an artist if you want to work in the game industry or movie industry or just be an illustrator for children's books or just fantasy novels or sci-fi novels, whatever it may be. You have to push those visual skills and compositional skills to the best of their qualities, and you won't be able to do that if you're just copying it from the image you're studying from. So you gotta use the imagination a little bit, and the way I do it is like I did at the beginning. I do a I do a color scheme. I do those little squares off the side that you see there, and I pick colors from there. And as you can see, that works fine. And the other thing is just increase the size of the layer you're working on. This way, if you do mistakes, well, you do mistakes and you have to deal with it and just carry on and trying to figure out things for yourself, or they work in bigger scales, because that's how real life works. If you're gonna be drawing outside, like traditional drawing or painting, you're gonna have to figure out scales of things, because you're not gonna be, for example, you're not gonna be painting a building that's the size of the canvas. So you cannot copy straight up the size of real life things on the canvas. You have to resize them to fit your canvases. So that's one of the skill assets that I really think everyone should be trying to study more instead of just copying. Because the purpose of studying is actually bettering yourself at things you're not good at. And one of those things that people have is observation skills are not good enough. So enough of that, and let's get on with what I'm doing here. So this is something new, and this was presented to me by Dennis Wabner, one of the other artists at the Daily Speed Paint that I've known for quite a long time, and I think you all know him. It's a great guy, and I talk to him sometimes about development of artwork and etc. And he told me this little trick here that I didn't really use before. I knew about it, but I never really used it. But then he told me that I could use shapes in forms that's on the shape tool. Uh, and use it to create very quick dirty textures around the images. Now, this might not be pleasant what you're looking at here. This is like a messy thing, but for me, this creates a nice and pleasant pre-stage texture that I can use to paint over it. In a bit, you're gonna see that, and I think this really creates a really nice beginning for any image, just to get straight down, like because if you're gonna draw every little bit of texture, it's just gonna take ages to get to the point where you want to be. So this is a great method to get real, not realistic, but something that would present at least traditional kind of methods of painting. Alright, so let's get on with the painting and what I'm doing right now. So since I've got the shapes I wanted and the texture kind of feeling right to my purposes, I'm gonna be starting painting over it. And over this process, you're gonna be seeing some changes, some good, some bad. Most of them bad, because that's all it is. Error in trial, guys. Error in trial. If not for that, you'll not be able to advance as an artist. So really, what I gotta say to everyone here is just try and don't be afraid. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. Right now, for example, I'm just trying to find a value color, the orange, to work within this yellowish scene that I've got. And it's not working well right now, but later on I will get it to a stage I'm comfortable with. But right now, like as you can see, things seem kind of weird and not correct. And when you compare it to the original painting, but that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to learn here. That's what I'm trying to get at as well. By observing, by trying different methods, different things, I'll try and get to the stage where I think I could reach to be like the original artwork. So, grabbing texture brushes now, and this is a really cool brush I have actually. You just create these a rock and mounty shapes really quickly just by sweeping across the canvas once, and I got a really good texture. As you can see, it's already creating rocky textures, really great ones actually. And but the values are still kind of iffy on the wall. They are not the same as the painting. I think I don't remember, so I'll be commenting as the video goes along. But I don't remember if I was able to fix it right, make it right actually, or not by the end of this video. We shall see that if I did or not. So one thing to have in mind. I'm not using many layers to paint this. Just so you guys know, as you guys can see also on the sides on my layer tab, I'm using about 2-3 layers top, and I lock the layer and I kind of merge them all the time. So I don't really work on separate layers because I want to be creating something that resembles a traditional art of painting, and that is that if you make a mistake, you have to paint over it and deal with it, and not trying to cheat your way out of it. Of course, you can say that, oh, but it's quicker to do layers and get back to it. Yeah, it's quicker. I understand that, and I do it when I'm working professionally with clients because of the time management, and understand it that as a professional we don't have the time and luxury to be picky about methods. You just have to be good at what you do and try to get there the end result as fast as possible or the fastest way you know. But for studies, I normally do everything from 1 layer to 3 layers maximum because I feel like I shouldn't have the need for more since this is something that I need to study more and create more and learn. And having a few layers helps me with making decisions uh, towards that effect. So here, again, on the image, on the painting actually, I'm trying to get the characters that are in the scene. Finally, yes, I'm finally working the characters. Yay! So I'm trying to get them in their forms and shapes because I painted over them. when I was doing textures. And one thing you noticed here is the lasso tool has come in handy for the first time now. Now, as you can see, and as many of you know, lasso tool is a great thing. It's like one of the greatest tools Photoshop has, and that's because I don't know how to explain it, but like it creates sharp edges, and when you have a sharp edge against something that's kind of more messy, like the background, it makes it stand out. It makes the object that's above the other object stand out even more, and that way you get great sharpness feel to the either character, animals, plants, or whatever it may be. And this way, I'm able to create fast results without having to clean up later on. Of course, the shape and the characters or anything you're working on that uh, way are gonna be have to be changed at some point. Like you're gonna have to go in the lines and fix them to be correct. But I feel like it's a great tool to use to get things done faster. So here you can see I'm just working. I deselected the selection around the character and I'm just doing things outside of it, trying to get shadows right and little details on the wall. I shouldn't have probably deselected the selection. I should have inverted the selection. Sorry, inverted the selection and worked around it, the character, so that way I would keep the sharpness around. But um, sometimes I just like to get in there and get dirty and just throw brushstrokes around it. Sometimes that works well, some other times it doesn't. But that gets on with experience as you paint further and further more in your career. So you decide what you want to do and what you think it's more correct to do. So as you can see, I'm keeping everything simple. I'm not doing every little shape or lines that clothing has, because clothing to me is something that's extremely time taking. It takes a long time to get like clothing to look realistically good. So I try and just work with light and make it look the best possible um, with the time I have, which is about an hour and a half tops. Sometimes I do these studies in an hour. It really depends on the subject. Some others I've done in 40 minutes, but yeah, it depends really on your objectives and what you want to do. But here I just try to be quick and really work the light masses and dark parts rather than trying to do details. Of course, you see me putting details in there and just going from brush, but in reality, those are really quickly done brush strokes. I'm thinking about them, but I'm not really looking forward to making a really detailed piece. I'm trying to get as near close as possible to the original artwork, but since I'm trying to do this in a limited time, I gotta really push things forward and do decisions about the light and composition that will bring more flavor into the to the painting. That's one way I work. I work in lights and darks a lot nowadays, so I really think it's important for me to train this visual and skill much more than I should do the rest. Of course, composition is important. I'll be correcting some squares here and there. But the purpose of this one especially, is trying to get the mood and feel as much closely as I can to the original artwork. And to do that, I sometimes just leave detail to behind because I just want to do that. I just want to work on light and getting the atmosphere and colors right. Of course, if you want to spend more time on it and actually trying to get more closely right to the original image, you can. Uh, but I just don't because I have more images to do throughout the day, more studies. So um, I'm just trying to get to the heart of the original artwork, and that to me is fine. But yeah, so far I'm getting the colors and lights finally looking more like the original image, the original painting. And since I've got to that stage, I've started to mess around with the textures again by using the tool, the shape tool again. Again, another thing that I didn't mention before, but this is real good for beginning. But another use for it that's really good is when you have something that's really like a normal. For example, let's say we have a square, right? And you want to give that square surface a bit of a rough texture, like for saying rock or just having holes that show erosion that has been done over time. Using this shape here that I'm using right now is a great method to just like give a semi-realistic texture over an object very fast. As you can see here now, I just made the lighter parts, the whiter parts, seem more unified in a single line that it was before. That it wasn't before. But yeah, it's a great thing to use, and you get really good results really fast. And here I am using selection tool again to get the guy on the left side done. Again, this is just to save time. Of course, you can actually use just create a new layer and use what's it called? uh, a full opacity brush and just draw the character. But I prefer to do it this way, just faster and clean. I don't have to clean anything else afterwards. In the end, if I get the shape right in the beginning, if not, I'll just do little changes here and there, which is fine. And here, of course, I'm gonna play with the shapes a bit more. And again, clothing. That little problematic child that it's gonna be hard to deal with, at least for me. And one thing I gotta mention that sometimes when I'm doing a study of an old artwork, one thing you gotta keep in mind, or I do keep in mind, is that the colorization of the original painting has gone down a few centuries or just decades. Like if it was a 16th century painting done, the vividness of the color would have been lost. A lot of it have been lost. So something I try to think of is like, what would it look like if it was painted nowadays? Like, would this actual shadow be so light, or was it much more darker than it is right now? I mean, those are things that do happen, and when working on a photo taken from an image on the internet of a painting, um, there's gonna be light changes and other things that are not really corresponding to original artwork, but uh, That's why I like to try and change a bit of the artworks to seem a bit more colorful. Apart from actually my style, objective be to do more colorful images, because I really like to play with color. I think that's one of the things that I'm gonna be working towards my style for the rest of my life, is actually bringing color into life of a painting. So that's like a really important subject for me to work at, and I really feel like when you're working on a painting that's like a few decades old, or the actual painting is faded away in some parts, it's important to understand what the artist meant to do here and there with those parts, and try and recreate or change them, or just try and do your own thing on it. Because also ultimately you just don't want to, as I've been saying throughout the video, you just don't want to be copying straight from the actual original artwork. You want to be creating something as well, and learning from the other painting to better yourself. For me, to better myself is to actually see what the other artists did, and trying to implement those studies from my past and my own style into this. The best way to show that is by showing right now that I'm doing a digital painting of a traditional painting, and trying to get close to the feel of traditional painting in digital. Uh, some of you know, and actually a lot of you know this, but that's a real hard task to duplicate the feeling, the same feeling of traditional drawing in a painting, in a digital painting. It's actually quite hard. Like the texture feels, and the brush strokes, and how you work around the image. It all depends on you as an artist. There's no tricks. You have to study, and you have to be able and capable of reaching the level you're comfortable with to do those things, those textures. Uh, it will be something that, as an artist, I feel like at least it's hard to do. So to get around that, I started to study these traditional paintings to get closer to what you'd see great artists work, and hopefully I'm already getting something out of this. I'm learning a lot. As you can see, a lot of you know like my speed paint stuff, and some of you ask me always, oh, I do this, oh, I do that. This is the reason how I do it, because I study these things. Like I go and study traditional artworks. It's not just digital, because everything started from one place, either from cave paintings, or uh, leather paintings, or just whatever medium was used, and until we went for canvases and etc. etc. It's a progressive state that you gotta think of, and try and reach as well. For me, the point of deciding that I wanted to do something more closely to the original kind of feel, it's because I did traditional painting before, for a few years before I actually did digital painting. This was back in like 2000 and forward, 99, maybe 1999 year, and at that time I just didn't have access to the digital painting. I don't think many people at the time did, anyways. But when I got my first tablet, it was a small, what it was, a small bamboo. Yes, it was a small A5 size bamboo tablet. At the time, I didn't understand what I was doing, and I didn't understand anything about brush strokes made with texture and settings. I don't think there was anything like that because or was it? I don't quite recall, but it was kind of weird at the time because I was much better at doing traditional paintings in oil and acrylics than I would be in digital painting. So years have gone by, and since then I've tried to reach a state, uh, or I was confused in the middle. I've got to admit to reach this state, but I think I've now understood how to do it and what I want to be doing as my style goes. And I really love traditional feel of art, and that's why I do concept art as well because a lot of traditional art textures and stuff that you're gonna be using for the game designs and etc. can be used to do traditional drawings or the same methods. In the end, everything goes back to stage one where you start at and what you're gonna be using as your base for your artworks. And when you get comfortable about that stage, you'll be able to create anything in your own way. So, let's move away from my life story and get on with the painting again. Here, as you can see, I've done a lot of changes, compositional changes, and actually shape changes on the characters and the wall itself. Right now, I'm still figuring out little places on the wall to actually change and make it better. Trying to keep those darks and lights, shapes correct, and the characters seemingly looking like they actually would be in the scene. One way I did with the most recent character that's leaning against the wall in the middle of the image is by actually trying to get the values to match up in another, like, almost the same color, but in another color. It'll be much more brown here than actual yellowish wall that it's leaning against on, and make it a bit the value more darker. That way, to seem like he's close to that value spectrum of the image that is below the part of the end image where there's shadow coming through, which is actually a shadow of the wall that's seen on the right, that block wall on the right. So those are things that I noticed and try to make it right. Although it's looking different from the original painting. Yes, I know. So here's the woman in white dress, trying to get the somewhat comfortable with the dress. This one got me really intrigued and because I was thinking about it when I was doing this and I felt like it's interesting how the purple pinkish clothing works so well against such a bright white and I got confused at the beginning when I was starting doing it. Some errors I did here and there, but I corrected them with using the light and shadow properties of the clothing to make seem the figure um, right in place. But it was kind of intriguing, and these kind of things you're gonna find throughout studies you do of master studies. It's like you just click, like something clicks in your brain. So that's possible. You can do that when doing light and shadow things, which is really interesting. Because normally when you're working in dark scenes, you actually just do everything dark. But here, like, there's some light that's coming through the furthest right of the wall, where you see the yellow part of the wall on the right, like the small line wall. There's light coming through there, and it's interesting. All the light kind of goes off to the woman, but not on the floor. So that's a very interesting way to show off light and how it works. So now I'm getting right into the biggest character here. So this time I'm not using the lasso tool. I have no idea why I did that, but I'm guessing that I just wanna use a brush tool for once to do some shape, perhaps, but I'm not quite sure why. Maybe I was more keen on using doing it in brush, perhaps. I don't know. Sometimes it changes. It depends on how I feel as well when I use the selection or not. So another interesting fact here is using yellowish green. As I've told you guys before, I think working with yellows is it's something that I haven't done much before, and it gets me really confused. To be honest, I get confused, really confused. I don't know why. It's just because it's a color that's really colorful, really bright, and it's actually hard to handle the values of yellowish kind of paintings. Same with green. So when you're doing a forest or something in that same aspect, uh, green is one of the most like hardest things to make it look right, because you have to think about the vividness of it's going to be bright green or not, and that looks odd in any image when you do bright green. So there's gotta be really careful consideration when you use it. But there are ways that make it possible for use. Like you can use what I like more to use is green that's close to the bluish color. It's kind of like a baby blue with green, which is great for some secondary light things that you can show in the end. But for the most part, it looks cool. But yeah, it's hard to figure out. So here, I'm trying to get that green right. That it looks green, but it's yellowish. That's the most interesting thing. Like colors are mixed like so weirdly. You can pick a color that's totally different from the actual one you're seeing, and it's gonna give you such a different result from what it should be giving. But that's the magic of doing colors, and that's why I love it. That's why I love doing colors, and that's one of the things I try and push off with my speed paintings is actually giving details with colors. And it's really magical when you get something right from the beginning or not. So yeah, guys, we are reaching the stage that I'm ending the study. There's still some errors here and there. As you can see, I'm trying to fix the wall that should have been going further, and actually the line down should be going more down. So yes, that's all there is, and I hope everyone enjoyed watching this video. I'm gonna be trying to do more of them, and I hope you all learned something or hope to learn something. I don't know. I'm just doing this as a try. I'm not really sure if I'm helping anyone or not, but I'd like to hear your comments about the video and this series of master studies. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.